Welcome to the first in a series here at HMW Sports, where I'll be travelling around and I'll be speaking to fighters, coaches, promoters, everything across combat sports. But first up, we have Callum Beardow of Beardow's Corner, a recently retired professional boxer who was 5-0 and had to retire due to severe shoulder injuries. I popped down to his gym in the centre of Sheffield to speak to him all about promoting his first event, setting up the gym, retiring, and everything else that came with it. So stick with us so you can see what we get up to right here on HMW Sports. But first and foremost, enjoy this interview.
Yeah.
So what I want to get to know really now, your story, you were 5-0 and then you had a devastating shoulder injury, right?
Yeah,
Do you want to tell us a bit about that?
Well, I've had a problem with my shoulder since I was pretty much since amateurs. I think all around about 18, 19, trying to work out the time range. I always get this mixed up, but I've had 5 operations now on my shoulders, 4 on my left, 1 on my right. I had 3 on my left with repeated dislocation. I had 3 within space of 2 years, something like that, where I didn't compete for an amateurs. I thought that might have been it then, really. Managed to do a lot of work with boxing science, Danny Wilson, a lot of rehab work, getting it back to what it should have been, and slowly building my confidence back up with the injury, and then ended up obviously having the best parts of my amateur career back end of that, and then going into professional boxing. I was looking pretty strong and going through it, and then I always kind of had problems here now and then with my shoulders, but then I got the same problem in my AC joint, and basically just where really bad pain in one of them. I had operation to sort it out, and I had a bit of pain in this one before I had this one done, and I then had the operation, and then literally as I started coming back from the training, ramping training up, as I recovered from this one started to ramp up, and they literally said, you've got the same thing. So I had to have that one done, come back, and that one literally didn't do a thing. So funnily enough, I've had 4 operations on this shoulder, and this one's my good one now. This is the one that I get more pain with than ever, and I've only had the operation on that literally did nothing. It would exactly the same before the operation what after. And they even explained that. They said it's not a major operation, but it's something that may work and may help you, and may not. And that one it did. That one it didn't. I knew I was like this, and this is. I'm not gonna. I had no way I could go through a training camp and my shoulders and my body or my shoulders wouldn't get through what I'd need and to do 12 rounds open sparring and to build up to a British title fight and go through the fights building up to. I know I won't get through that. So instead of me telling a lie and being like, oh yeah, I'm getting a couple more fights and telling a lie to my sponsors, my fans, I called it a day. I remember just coming to training, I was in pain, and I was like, what's the point here? I'm just going to training, getting upset. I remember we were driving down, Godfrey's literally just around the corner, and I'm same road, up and down it, twice a day for 15 years doing it, and I remember just crying. I was coming down the road and I was in tears, and I was like, what am I doing? Wow. I was so anxious about coming to training, because I know I'm going to train, I knew my shoulder was going to hurt, and then I'm going to go and pissed off rest of the day, taking out my family, taking out my partner, and being mardy with them when it's just, and that were over space of 6 months or a year, me feeling like that, and it was just gradually getting worse, and I said to my old coach, Brendan, I just walked to the gym and I was like, you alright? I was like, no, I'm done.
Through from being a fighter to a coach, it's not a simple thing. Everyone thinks that every boxing coach can be every boxer can be a boxing coach.
No.
Same like everyone thinks every decent footballer is going to make an incredible manager. It's just not the way it works.
No.
So at what point was it where you wanted to transition to that? Was there any kind of imposter syndrome you were thinking of, oh no, just the things that come with transitioning into coaching, especially owning your own space?
No, not really, because I've always coached since my old gym were pretty good. We always used to kind of get as you got to a specific level, you kind of help the younger kids out, and it was coaching them, and you drop into a session maybe an hour before your session to help out and develop yourself. Obviously some people can do it better than others, but we've always kind of as you grew as a boxer, you grew as a coach, helping out in the gym. So I've always coached. I first started doing paid coaching when I was about 16. I used to run some of the university sessions up at Goodwin Centre, University of Sheffield. Started running some of them, and I've always coached sessions in my gym, run some Saturday mornings and stuff like that. Never fully stopped, but when it comes to terms of actually running sessions or taking one-to-ones, I didn't do that anymore. But then, back end of my career, as I started, I had a break. When I finished, I had a break from boxing for about Well, I planned to just have a break indefinitely and just see how I felt. I think it were about 3 weeks. So getting back into coaching was just like that, because I've always been really good, like with kids. I've always been really good with, especially kids who, when I was younger, like kids who wasn't really, they like boxing but wouldn't really sit well in a school environment.
Yeah, of course.
Probably I think they like to label them all with ADHD now, but whether they had that or not. But yeah, so the kids who probably weren't listened as well, I was really good with them, and I found I could engage with them really well. And I've just found coaching easy. I found explaining difficult things in a simple way, and I think that's what coaching is, whether you're in football, boxing, I don't know. I give them 2 or 3 things to work on, and that's it. Like, do the session, whatever it is, whatever we're working on within the session, and they're your 2 or 3 things that you come, look at the whiteboard, pick them things, and you've got to work on them every single session, including whatever we're doing on the session. So if we're working a jab or working on straight shots, you've still got to be working your straight shots but putting your weight in your back foot. Every time, until I see you doing that, then that gets wiped off your name. And then we'll just add something else. And it's just simple stuff. I've always found that really easy because of how I've been coached and how I like to see things. I like to see things written out and very meticulous in my training. I like numbers, I like progression.
Hate numbers.
Yeah, I love them. I love numbers. Love numbers, love percentages, love speeds, love everything. I'm like, right, that's brilliant. I know I'm getting better. Because if not, I just find I'm guessworking. So it's kind of similar with how I've kind of applied that to my coaching. Not everyone's the same, but a lot of my members that have really engaged and the ones that improved the most have took that on board.
So where did the idea come for Beardow's Corner? Like, why not just, hang around at your old gym with Brendan? What was the story?
Pretty much. I always, when I was younger, I always ideated I'd have my own gym because I thought I'm not going to box forever. So I'd always liked the idea of having my own gym at some point. I didn't think it would just come this early. Ideally, I didn't want to leave my old gym. We had a meeting, and I said, what about us making like a huge, like a performance institute kind of thing? Like, we'll expand the boxing gym, have a bigger gym, then we can have like a strength conditioning suite on the side of it. We had a few coaches there. Tommy, who works at it's basically CrossFit Sheffield next door now. We had a meeting. Basically, it just wasn't. I don't think it was the right move for everyone at the time, really. Which is fair enough. I understand that everyone's got their own business, and I kind of needed to. I needed to make a move. I had a lot of one-to-one clients, external that I used to train at Sheffield City, and obviously a lot of when they were paying one-to-one prices were like extortionate compared to group classes. So I've just explained to them, what about if we did maybe a small group class and you paid X amount per month, but you could come 3 or 4 times a week rather than once a week. So like a few clients paying £40 a week, £40 per session, coming every week, it's £160 a month. So it's a lot of money for 4 hours. It's a lot of money. So if you're doing that, I said, what about if you paid something like a bit lower, £80 to £100 a month, but you could come twice as much or 3 times as much as that, but you're just in a small group, and they kind of like that idea. And me and my partner just got a new house. Didn't think boxing were going to finish when we found the new house. My partner actually had a big career change. She went from in a big, like comfortable job, stressful job, but earning like 40 to 50k a year, to working in a mum's cafe. So she did that about 3. I told her to, because she was just weren't right in her head. She was getting upset. So I said, get out, like, you need to stop. I'm not bothered if we've got peanuts and we have to remortgage his house. It doesn't matter. I want you to be happy. And then kind of obviously this happened with me at the same time. I stopped. Then I couldn't even afford to pay for me and Mrs. to go to cinema. Do you know what I mean? Like I just had that many out. We were having £1,200 a month coming out before I could earn anything that way without petrol putting in my car. Yeah, a lot. So I needed to make a jump, and I didn't want to leave Sheffield City, but I had to do something. And I borrowed a bit of money. I actually had a Rolex watch I won. I won a Rolex watch, a Rolex GMT Master 2, on a bonkers, like a competition raffle thing. I spent 40 quid at I spent 40 quid at Chris. My mate, a friend of mine, actually won a raffle I was doing, and he told me about it. He said, "Oh, my friend does them really big." I said, "Oh, right." So he said, "Why don't you try and why don't you ever go on his or something?" So I said, "All right, yeah, sound like." Spent 40 quid that day when I went to my mate's tattoo shop. Spent 40 quid on tickets. It were 4 tickets. Forgot about it. Boxing Day, I got a phone call, missed call. The number kept ringing me. My phone's always on silent. Kept ringing me boxing. Who's ringing me boxing this many times? Answered, and he said, "Oh, I hear. Is that Callum?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Hey, it's bonkers competitions here." And I were eating cheese and crackers at my missus' mum's house. It's that Boxing Day, and about probably 5 or 6 o'clock in the evening. It's like, "It's bonkers competition. Did you enter a competition for a Rolex GMT Master 2?" And I went,
on a whim, yeah.
And he went, "Oh, you've just won it." And I went, "No, oh my God." So I had this fucking 14 grand Rolex that I'd won, and this was a couple of years before any of this happened. And I thought, well, if I sell this watch, which novelties wore off now, obviously not, this is a Garmin 165, 160 quid, this is the cheapest Garmin you can have. A gold chain that I'd bought, which I bought after one of my fights, which I got about 2 grand back for that, and ended up getting about 10 grand for the watch. So yeah, I had like 12 grand to play with, and I got some savings left over, which I were eating to every month, obviously. And then just went for it. And then I borrowed some money off a family friend who helped me out a lot, lent me a lot of money. So got this done, big loan, sold everything I had really, and then it's worked out, and I've got a gym now. So yeah.
So when you were looking to get this place, you got like the big thing on the wall there, all the way. Yeah. Where did that come from? I remember you put an Instagram post up about it recently, but tell us a bit more. So
when I was younger, about I can't remember, I'm gonna say I was a teenager, probably like 15, 16, 17, and I saw the poem. Charles Bukowski all the way, and I just always stuck with me. I was like, wow, what an amazing poem. I was fixated at the time on boxing, but that was boxing all the way, no matter what I'm gonna do. Probably refers back to me having 13 steroid injections within 18 months.
Going all the way.
Going all the way. Whatever I can to just stay in boxing and do whatever I can. I just used to work on doors, like I said, 3 nights a week, been absolutely knackered. Stayed up till 4 in the morning so I could afford to pay for my strength and conditioning and stuff like that. I just doing whatever I could to do it, all the way. And then obviously when it's time to come have the gym, I thought, well, if I'm going for it, let's go for it proper. Let's not try and make a gym where you've got minimal equipment or it looks okay. Let's make it look the best I can do for the cheapest amount possible. But took the lease over, we didn't get no subsidised rent, so I had to have 3 grand of that money that I borrowed just went. So it were £900 a month, £2,600 within 3 months, because I didn't have any members. I had to refurb it all. They wouldn't have any, because I took the lease over. They were like, no, we can't do it. So I knew I had 3 months to get it done. Yeah. I just lost money straight away. What
were some of them conversations like then, where you probably a couple of sleepless nights?
Yeah,
thinking, probably. How do we make this work?
You know what? A lot of people are saying to me when I'm doing it, it's going to be a big thing. I know it is, but if I think about it being a big thing, then it's going to be massive.
A bigger thing.
So I just thought, I never actually worried. I just always thought, I knew it was going to work. I knew it was going to, because I had confidence in my own coaching ability, confidence in when I go at something, I don't stop. I try to put myself against anybody when I really want to go at something, and that's why I said before, I like numbers, because I like to know what I need to get, and I know I need to make this an X amount of money to get this going, and I needed to start enjoying everyday life, not just the money side. I needed to start being happy, because I don't care what your passion is. If you're losing money every single month and you can't afford to pay your bills and you don't really have a life, you're not going to be happy. So I need to do something, and I had a way out. I had to put a plan together, and just went for it with this place, and just I never actually didn't have sleepless nights, to be honest. I think most nervous time was the open day. I think the open day, I was like, right, this is it now. The gym's done. People are going to see this. I want people to be amazed by it, and everyone ever come. We're just absolutely buzzing off.
It is a great little space. Yeah, it's fantastic.
Thank you, appreciate that, mate. Yeah, thank you. So,
I mean, I can definitely vouch for you locking in, because there'll be times where I wake up at 6:30 in the morning, look on Instagram, and you're already on the air bike at 5:30 in the morning, and you think, I need to get up a little bit earlier.
I'm back running now, so I've not been on them for a while. I can't stand. I prefer running, but I had trouble with my Achilles for about 4 months and not being able to run, and I just had to become best and worst enemies, best friends but worst enemies to them. So they did all right.
But talk to me about this facility. You've just had your first show 2-3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
That's a big moment. You just opened a year ago.
Yeah.
Big first show that you've had in here. What is it, before we get into the show, what is it about this space that, you go to a traditional boxing gym, it's all creaky floorboards, and it looks a bit like Mickey's gym in Rocky. It's all a bit rough and ragged.
Yeah.
What is it about this gym that makes you want to make it kind of different from other gyms? Because you see the
Yes.
stuff you put on Instagram as well. Like it's a lot of younger people who, like, oh, I've never done anything like boxing before. I know they're coming in whereas they might be a bit intimidated to go to an old style boxing gym.
I mean, we still have that feel. Once the coaching is still like an old school boxing gym. I mean, I've been brought up in an old school boxing gym. We used to be in a youth club. We used to have to take the ring down twice a week. Take the ring down, put it up twice a week because they used to have a youth club on evenings that we went in. So I know what it's like. And we used to have a bag room that we literally had. You had a bag and then you had half a metre. You couldn't really do any footwork on the bag. So I know what it's like in them. And the coaching is still like an old school box gym, and that's the main thing that needs to stay. But what I know, there was a lot of people out there that enjoyed boxing and would be more inclined to come to a gym if it didn't look like an old school boxing gym. So we focus on teaching boxing. That is our number one thing. I teach boxing, and I treat everyone in here as if they were a fighter, as if they want to compete. Because you can't learn a sport properly unless you're doing it as if they were going to compete in the sport. And I said to them, there's no pressure for anybody to jump in the ring in here. Nobody has to jump in the ring. You can just come to drill sessions and just learn the skill, just get the fitness side of it. But everything I teach you, when you're teaching how to throw a jab, should you move your feet depending on who you're boxing against. And because if you learn that way and they do every month and says, actually, I wouldn't mind having a go at sparring, then they know nothing's brand new. So it's far from I've had people say to me, is it like a bit of like boxercise? I'm like, no, don't ever call my gym a boxercise gym. So yeah, it's a small group training facility. It's a small group training facility that focuses on just proper boxing training. What I didn't want to do is dilute the classes too much, so we have a maximum of like 12 people in every session. And to be honest, it's mainly between 4 and 8. This morning, first sparring, obviously after we had the show, sparring dies down a bit. Not as many people come to the sparring, so we've had 2 in this morning. We've got a 2-to-1 session of me dissecting every round. I didn't want to dilute the coaching because I don't care what sport you're in or what facility you're in. If you, for what business you're in, from a performance standard, if you've got one coach or one teacher and there's 20 people in a room, that coaching is diluted by 20. If you've got 10 in a room, you've then got double the amount of time to spend with them 10 people than you have the 20 people. And it's just a different model that I wanted to go for. I wanted to make sure that anyone coming in here was leaving my gym and you could tell they were coming to my gym. And who can say, right, go to Beardow's Corner. And it kind of showed when we had the sparring event a couple of weeks back. So many people said to me, I can't believe some of them have never been in the ring before. They were like, the footwork was amazing. And I was like, that made me well proud of my coaching and my members, seeing, look how much they've come on from working hard, from deciding that they wouldn't usually ever walk into a boxing gym before, and now they're performing and having boxers tell them that they're so impressed by how good they are for the first sparring event.
Yeah. So when you go to plan your first event, how do you put it together? Where do you get the matches? You had proper officials here to give them that real taste of.
Well, I've watched over 1,000. I've watched over probably a couple thousand amateur bouts, sitting in Liverpool for sporting leisure centres, watching 40 fights a day, multiple weekends in a row, either competing with myself or. So I know kind of how shows should be run. I've been to boxing events. I wanted to make sure that it's entertaining and you're not just coming to watch the one person you're coming to watch. I wanted to make sure you can have a fun, build a bit of a community, and people can see the gym, and ideally having it in the gym so people can go, oh wow, look at this place, we can train here as well. Do you know what I mean? I'd love to train here. I've got a friend who runs a gym in Scunthorpe called Luke at Outlaw Boxing, and he helped me out with this concept. So I can't take all the credit for the concept of the gym. He's obviously been a professional boxer as well. He helped me out. He said, look, we've come away from amateur boxing, do it as like a small group training facility, and kind of give me the idea. And I thought, he said you just need enough one-to-one clients to do it with. So he gave me the idea, helped me out. If you do see his gym, it is very very similar to mine. He's the one who gave me the contacts for all the China stuff. He's given me the contacts. So we set his gym up, and so we've had a good relationship. Helped me out a lot, and I owe a lot to Luke. We gave him a good shout out on the sparring event.
So it wasn't like you just came in.
So we had, and then we boxed again. So we had 8 of our lads versus 8 of his lads, but we matched it fairly because they were all fairly newcomers. None of them really stepped foot in the ring other than spars before. What we did is we went sparring at his gym a couple times, Then we kind of matched them up from that, and we saw, well, that actually matched really well. That was a fair. If any of spars didn't really go on the day, we kind of thought that's not going to go as well. It's not really fair. So yeah, so we just matched them up. We had 8 lads from our gym, 8 lads from Outlaw Boxing, come over, put it on. We had like a pizza truck outside and a drinks company put the food on. My friend Brad DJing and MCing. So yeah, it went really good.
I think that's a much better setup than, you know, just these 6-week training champs for charity that are white collar, and then there's a BBC news story about how someone got a brain injury.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's a much better setup. And how have your clients kind of took it? Because I've seen a couple of the little Instagram reels you've put about, I think it was Ella, the young girl who had a...
Emily, yeah.
Emily.
Yes, that's the girl I was talking about. Yeah, so she'd never stepped foot in the ring before. She's absolutely she's a cracker, she's brilliant. I've never seen, she's got to be pound for pound the hardest puncher in the gym. Honestly, she's 46 kilos, she's 16 years old. And when you're at the pads, you're like, whoa, whacking. And she don't even put effort into it sometimes. I'm trying to get her to put less effort into it because she just tries. I said to her one day, I said, what do you like about boxing? She's like, I like punching really hard. And I'm like, it's not often you hear a female say that.
No, that's true.
It's usually like, oh, well, I just learn the skill side. And she gets the skill side as well. She's done dance before this, so she's got the coordination. And she can
that Lomachenko kind of thing.
Yeah, and she's got this, but she can be something. It's just fine. We're just struggling finding someone for her to spar because she's 16 in a few weeks and she's 46 kilos and she's tall. So and we're in boxing as well. There's more females than ever, but not as many as what there is males. That's my main thing with obviously giving something to work towards, because obviously competing boxers, you're looking towards the next fight, you're looking towards a tournament, you're looking towards, I want to win a Yorkshire title, regional title, I want to win a national title, then I maybe want to turn professional or look for the England boxing team or Olympic boxing team. Whereas obviously here, not all of them want to compete. So at the moment, I'm just in a way of thinking of how to keep... not all want to compete yet, so I'm just in a way of how to keep in the members who are really set on not wanting to compete. Because they kind of get to a level where they're pretty good, they kind of know all the moves, know all the punches, they can really do the defences, put them few together, make some good combos. And then I can see some of them think, oh, where do I go from now then? I'm not wanting to compete. Yeah, I do love the community and I love hitting the bags and stuff, but I can't see some and I kind of not go backwards, and I've seen it in most gyms, kind of go. So I'm trying to think of a way now at the moment, which I've got an idea that will be coming up, some challenges for the members and non-members to bring them in that they can do that, and I've just given them something to aim towards and give them a bit of accountability. But the thing with the sparring events are brilliant because they can work towards the next sparring event. So those that want to get in sparring or are a bit nervous about sparring and building up, those who come and watch that day, they're like, wow, now I really want to get into the sparring sessions. And knowing how safe it runs and knowing how well it goes. Yeah, it really it ran really well on the day. The members loved it. Whether they lost or won, they were all buzzing. And then even now, they've been so eager. Some have had a few stag do's that have gone on straight after. Or maybe just bottled as they book because they're that. But
for the next 12 months then, wrapping up for you, you know, you're 12 months in, you've made great strides already. For the next 12 months, what's the mission? What's the goal? Where do you want to be this time in July next year?
I just want to build the community of the gym, to be honest. This is the main thing now. We've got more sessions on than ever. I've got another coach at the gym now, which is helping out a lot. Before I was doing everything. Obviously, new business. It's a coach I used to go to my old gym. Aman Hussein, who's an amateur boxer now. He boxes for Steel City Boxing Club. So he's on board, he's really good. I've coached him since he was 6 years old. So he's like a little copy and paste of me coaching. He's really, really good. Picks out similar things. Don't focus on anything crazy. Don't want him doing things. Just wants the basics done up right. So he's really good, especially at 18. I'd probably put it as far as saying he's the best coach at his age in the country, for how knowledgeable he is. And I'd like to have at some point 4 a year. I need to find another venue because in here it's brilliant, and we couldn't have landed any better with the summer that we've had. It was scorching hot, 28 degrees in the day. We had over 200 people come to the event.
It's a tight little spot for that many people as well,
spot,
right?
So if it had rained, we literally would have been the worst show in the world. So I prayed for the sun. That was probably what I was sweating for the week more than anything up in the gym. We're only meant to have about 120, 140 people come here, over 200 turn up in the end. So that went well. But obviously, 9 months a year, we're going to struggle. If I had another one back in September, we're still relying on the weather.
Yeah.
So I'm in touch with a friend who's just opening up a place. They've got a venue not far, about 10 minutes from here. So if we works well there, then we could have, if we needed to, we could have 12 a year. Not that we would, but I'd like 3 or 4 a year of these sparring events. Start looking to have competitive. Amateur boxing is brilliant, and I love taking people and developing people, but it don't bring money in at the moment.
Yeah.
So what I need to do is get this gym financially going, which we're getting on board with that now, and then we can start having competing amateur fighters and eventually professional fighters that I would like to get into, which we can do, but like I said, same thing, it's a lot of time, a lot of development, and I don't want to say, oh yeah, you can come and be a professional boxer at my gym, and then I ain't got no time to train. This is not, everything needs to be done properly, and that's kind of how I've always done my training and done anything I've gone for. I don't just want to try and wing it. Sometimes you have to, but I want to make sure everything's done properly and not just, oh, we kind of do this, we kind of do that. This is what we are, this is what we do, and not be like draw ourselves out on a big playing field. Get this job, do this job really, really well, then we can add another job, do that really, really well, and add on and add on and add on. Yeah.
Brilliant. Well, thank you for your time.
Cheers, Harry. Thank you, mate. Nice one.
Yeah, if you're interested in getting started in boxing, why not come down to Beardow's Corner? Message him on Instagram at Beardow's Corner, and you never know where you might end up. You might end up in this ring right behind us.
Definitely.